Burning fields before cultivation is one of the most practiced land preparation methods in Mpasa area in Rumfusa district. However, experts advise against doing so as it is known to affect crop productivity as well as soil fertility. On this week's edition of News in Depth, Macpherson Kuka looks at a project in this area that is aiming to introduce small-scale farmers to sustainable land management practices. I'm your host, Masauso Mkwayaya. Stay tuned. Agriculture is Zambia's second largest economic activity after mining. Spread across the country, the landscape is dominated by smallholder farmers, with a majority located in rural areas. The small-scale farmers produce a wide range of agricultural products which they sell at markets in different locations. Vegetable production has emerged as one of the fastest expanding agribusiness venture most rural farmers are engaged in, which they later supply to the markets. Official statistics indicate that over 1.7 million households benefit from the primary agricultural activities within the smallholder sector. Farming methods vary from conventional to organic, depending on the farmer's preference. Far east of Lusaka province is Mpansha community in Rufunsa district. Here, burning of fields in preparation for the planting season is a common practice among farmers.
Burning is our big problem in the country. If we could do more also on government level, to hold seminars, you people from the radio station and TVs, to enlighten the people how much damage this burning causes in the long run. Not only that we cause a lot of problem for our environment as far as the smoke is concerned, but what we are destroying on the soil. All that soil cover which we badly need to protect our soils and to protect seeds are being burned off.
While it seems like a norm for the farmers in Mpansha to burn their fields before planting, the practice is being discouraged.
Give each farmer the same amount. So you can see now what's happening to the water here on the farmer with bare land.
The demonstration shows what happens to the soil when it rains on a field which was regularly burnt prior to planting and one that has never been burnt. It has been established that crops grown on a field that was burnt before planting fail to mature properly than those grown on a field that was not. George Chimusanya and Joseph Lungu are crop farmers here. The duo are able to tell the difference in crop performance based on the foregoing demonstration.
Pano pametiriri ni mbamunda wanga timalima so tinaona ushoka munda yai
so tizikuona kapena kuti ukashoka jimashe zanga kale kumoni fertilizer china kuoneka chenze poor because ndai kupeza vintu vyokwana bwino after harvesting.
In view of the foregoing, an environmentally friendly agricultural practice was introduced in Mpansha by Fura Foundation. The project is dubbed Sustainable Land Management under a Community Training Farm Initiative program.
We have seen it as a big problem here with the yearly burning of the land, that we have the land getting compacter and compacter. The organic matter is all burnt, so there is no return into the soil. So local small-scale farmers are getting more and more dependent on synthetic fertilizers, which are getting more and more expensive.
For sustainability of the project, other ideas have been incorporated, which farmers are being urged to adopt. One of the methods that farmers are being advised to undertake in sustainable land management in this area is mob grazing. Mob grazing requires putting of livestock owned by various farmers in one field for the purpose of grazing the field in readiness for planting. Initially, the idea was meant to have the introduction of livestock But this has changed to the Sustainable Land Management Program.
We are using our livestock now to try to reduce the burning of the fields and graze down local maize fields. The grazing area of our herds is actually in the community. We only pull out during the rainy season. We have an area where we take the dairy herd during the rainy season so that we don't disturb the crop season, as well as the beef herd which is grazing in the hills around Mpansha. And then during the dry season, when the crop fields are harvested off, we come into the community and we graze them down. We put up mobile kraals onto the maize fields and prepare them actually for planting without the farmers having to burn it before planting, which many farmers do here.
Solidaridad is an international non-governmental organization which champions sustainable agricultural practices. The Mpansha program is one of Fura Foundation's partner, Solidaridad's agenda in Zambia. Solidaridad Southern African regional livestock expert, Christine Yamba says the approach recognizes that health soil is the beginning of high production.
As you can see, cattle is moved from one kraal to another kraal, and by moving them from one kraal to another kraal and concentrating over 200 animals in one place, what is happening is that the land is being trampled on, so the structure of the land is being improved, but at the same time they are able to graze to the ground, and in their trampling they are also able to break down the organic material that is on the ground, but they are also dropping their feces as well as the urine, which becomes fertilizer to the area.
Sustainable Land Management Program plays a pivotal role in economic and social development, largely through its contribution to food security and earnings from the numerous agricultural produce. The National Union of Small-Scale Farmers of Zambia is happy with the introduction of the program in Mpansha.
This is a good system as far as we are concerned. In fact, being a member of the Global Roundtable for Sustainable Beef Production in Southern Africa, we decided that let's take a trip and see what is in Rufunsa. We are just doing actually a scooping kind of study to find out what systems can we use, what sustainable systems can we use to produce beef to begin with, but those systems also should benefit the crop production system that our small-scale farmers are using. And so we ended up coming here in Rufunsa, where Grassroots is working with Fura Foundation, with the community in Mpansha.
In the initial stages, some farmers were not for the idea. With time, more farmers are learning the trick with ease. The adaptation rate from the farmer is sparked through recognition that their crops perform better, giving farmers steadier yields.
Last year, sina shoke nachosa umilisi. Mukashoka simunga chose milisi. Ndibenda wana kuwama kwa kaena. Permitenze kushoka. Tezo kuchosa about 15 bags. So pamene tinamba kupanga programu hii izichosa at least 45.
The advantages of mob grazing for sustainable land management in agriculture are multiple. In the first account, the project has taken away the animal-human conflict from the area. This is because all animals are put in one kraal instead of letting them stray in people's fields, as is the trend.
One of the things that we've noticed in most farming areas is the conflict between crops and livestock. Especially in the rainy season, you find that people's livestock are eating the crops, and there's so many mulandos. If you go to the chief, it's just full up with cases. So one of the advantages of putting the cattle together, the whole community's cattle, just as they were in traditional times, where there was one kraal, and then you can control the animals better.
Most farmers in this locality hardly use modern farming equipment. This makes their production highly manual, demanding human labor, thus making it costly. Therefore, mob grazing for land preparation is said to have come in handy.
Zatandiza munjira yabwino chifukwa zankhala simple than momwe tinzochitira masiku akumbuyo. Kumbuyo tinze kuyamba first kushoka, then kuchoka paja kuunga kufika pamodzi kushoka, then after that kuyamba kushanga. So zitengerako nthawi. Manje monga paso ng'ombe pamene zina jamu so izafika kuti tizayambira chepo ufuna kuyamba kushanga. Panga tuzenje na kuyamba kushanga.
This field has undergone transformation as it once looked like this. After animals grazed it and trampled on the land, this was the result. The Small-Scale Farmers Union is equally aware of this benefit to its members.
We expect that the cost of production will go low because, as you are aware, the highest part of the cost for producing crops, and particularly maize, is fertilizer. And this system is reducing on the use of fertilizer. In fact, it can even do away completely with the use of chemical fertilizers. These animals, as they go into the field, they are leaving those droppings. And those droppings are contributing to nutrition. And that nutrition is one which makes the crop to perform very well. So that's what is going to happen. It's direct, actually. And apart from that, we are avoiding the fires. You know what the fires do, which I've seen in Mpasha, is that those that are allowing fire to go into the field, the productivity is low. But those that are allowing animals to go through, productivity is high.
Increased crop production is every farmer's dream. However, if the land is not well prepared, the yield is likely to be poor. The introduction of mob grazing is believed to have the potential to improve soil fertility, which boosts crop production.
We would like to stop the constant burning, actually. We would like to improve the soils. We would like to retain more water in the soils and retain fertility and water. Yeah, that's the main at the moment. It started, as I said, as a livestock introduction project, but with the connection we formed with Grassroots Trust and other organizations, we have now gone further, actually, using the animals to do land management.
The practice also helps the farmers to adapt to the use of organic fertilizer derived from the animal dropping whilst grazing. Organic manure is a preferred implement to chemical fertilizer, and the farmers are hopeful that their yields will increase.
Bati wambiri wakondwera maningi project ya Benja pamana bulesa kuno program ya ng'ombe wakondwera maningi ni wang'ono wamene ng'ombe wamene sizinapite wambiri zinapita mwambiri maningi ubwino wakaena wamene naona usashoka munda simungavutike kambwiri kulibe kulima kambwiri ni kushanga chabe
Then zatandiza kaidi ng'ombe tisi ya manyo munda. So chili chabwino maningi. Niona munga kusogoro tingankhale ko bwino. Then tingamukupeza ko or perhaps tingamukupeza ko munga mabagi ambiri 40 minda yambira kunkhaya clear. Then tizambirira na kunkhalo na nthawe ya bwino kuti tingambire bo shanga.
The whole idea of mob grazing takes an integrated production approach. While the animals act as machines for clearing fields ahead of the planting season, they too stand to benefit. Joseph Weltin is a beef farmer. He knows very well that the quality of beef that is produced is closely linked to the grass fed to his animals.
We will improve the position of our cattle herds, the health of the cattle, which will produce in the end a better meat product. And that's the aim. And that's what I'm looking at, and that's why I got involved here. It's partly also what we always call corporate social responsibility, yeah. But it will have a positive effect in the long run for this whole area, becoming producers of quality beef from grass. And that is what the people are looking for today. They don't want the beef from the feedlot. where we use antibiotics, growth hormone and all those bad things which we know. No, naturally grown.
Mr. Welton says mob grazing also gives the animals enough time to feed, unlike when they wander about.
By doing this type of grazing, well organized, the cattle are out the whole day, they can eat. Unless otherwise, when cattle are kept in the kraals until the schoolboy comes back from school, takes them out for a few hours, that is not enough eating hours. So the cattle don't develop. The calves that are possibly dropped every second year do not get enough milk from their mothers because they are well or badly nourished. Now here we look at this herd. There are young heifers in here, they are bright and shiny. We see cows running with a calf. They don't lose much of condition because they have enough food to eat.
The practice improves animal productivity, fertility and produces quality breed.
What that does is that the animals are of a good nutritional, they find a good nutritional base because they are able to eat green matter that is good for them. So the condition of the animals is very good. The condition of the calves that we have seen for this time of the year is also very good. So from a livestock point, it improves productivity, it improves fertility, because I think we've seen quite a number of calves here. And yes, it improves the breed, because quite a number of the animals that are here are the local animals. And when you look at the condition, they are quite good.
And Community Training Farm Project Manager Benjamin Fura says the project has brought about diversification in production and will benefit all 35 members.
We had input in the beginning. We had to build some infrastructure, we needed transport and so on, but actually it's a diversification of production on this land, which was before just cropland, burnt down, nothing more, and now we are producing milk and meat from the different herds we are grazing on it. The only contribution from livestock farmers who have animals in the herd is actually every third calf from their animals should pay now for the herding and the treatments and the prophylactic treatments.
For such a robust project to be implemented in a rural area like Impansha, challenges are inevitable. Grassroots Trust Director Rolf Shenton says lack of trust among cattle owners is a prominent concern.
One difficulty is for people to trust each other. So if we're going to put our animals together, we have to trust each other, because today my animals will be at your kraal and next week your animals will be at my kraal. So you have to trust me and I have to trust you. And that sometimes is difficult these days because, you know, the idea of working together has somehow disappeared in this country. And we need to bring that back.
But beef processor and producer Joseph Welton feels such concerns are as a result of lack of knowledge on the importance of such projects. Mr. Welton, who is also a managing director of Majori Investment, feels there is need for stakeholders to sensitize smallholder farmers on the benefits of sustainable land management.
We are obviously lacking knowledge along those lines, and rural farmers also have fallen prey trying to make their cattle bigger like the commercial farmers have done. But I can tell you, we just need to stop burning, do impact grazing or strip grazing, and we will get there. Obviously it needs a lot of sensitization, a lot of education going out, and the idea is to bring people here to see and hear from the local farmers here what has happened and how happy they are having their cattle in the communal herd where they are being fed well.
And Solidaridad admits that there is an information gap that needs to be closed.
It is something that we would have to really go out and give information to the farmers. So we will need to have quite a number of talks, have a number of open days, and try to see whatever means that we can use with grassroots trusts to see how we can then expand this program and expand the information about it further.
For small-scale farmers, sharing information starts with the media.
The first thing is, of course, to partner with you, the media houses, and partner with government to ensure that this has buy-in from the media houses and from other NGOs that are implementing agriculture activities amongst small-scale farmers. We intend to ensure that we make some production materials to ensure that these are distributed to as many people as possible. We will see if we can work well with the ones that are sponsoring this program, the facilitating organization, which is Solidaridad, to see if we can have some of this information heard on the media, but at the same time we want to see if we can produce small brochures, which I know Grassroots has produced, but we need to just look at them and see how we can tailor them for the small-scale farmers and distribute them in English and local language.
For the beneficiary farmers, their appeal is to see more of their colleagues come on board and venture into sustainable agriculture practices.
Venango vamene venze kukana so vanabwera kuno kumunda kwanga kuno kubwera kuona mamene zidyera ng'ombe venze kukana apa manje vamba kudandaula ati anaife zifunika kuamba zibwere kubwa kudya munda mwati bati venze kukana
ng'ombe ngati zadyera munda zisiya manyowa ndiponso munkhara mwabwino mwakuti olokwe ungayambishe kushanga kaya maganizo kusiyana kwa ifta abantu vena ngono munga ng'ombe zikadyeramo ziwononga.
And Grassroots Trust feels the program is an exciting one, which all small-scale farmers in the area must consider.
It's a good business model because you reduced your costs of herding, because instead of having 200 people with 200 people taking small herds out every day, you've now got 200 animals together with only 7 or 8 herders. So the cost of herding goes down, your professionalism goes up, your cost of medicine, of management goes down because you're buying in bulk. You've now got enough animals to justify a vet coming closer.
On the other hand, Solidaridad is hoping that the project becomes a success so that it can be replicated in other parts of the country.
In most of our activities, we work with the government. In Mazabuka, government is a partner, and the Municipal Council of Mazabuka is also a partner in our program. So whatever it is that we are working in there, we are working closely with government. And what we would hope is that as this is shown to be successful, we would then be able to host quite a number of other farmers from other areas who would come to have a look at what it is that has been done. As we would also hope that we would get a few farmers interested to come and see this program and be able to pick a few ideas from it.
Land in agriculture is a limited resource which can only be used for specific purposes at a given time. However, its usage may become irrelevant if poor farming methods, such as burning fields before planting, are applied continuously. Therefore, the need to take ecologically friendly approaches, such as mob grazing for sustainable land management, is key in protecting farmers' welfare for future productions. This is because the practice does not only increase the lifespan of the field, but also improves productivity, which in turn brings about food security.
Here is where we come to the end of this week's edition of News in Depth, where Macpherson Mukuka was looking at a project in Ruvuma districts that is aiming to introduce small-scale farmers to sustainable land management practices. I have been your host, Masauso Mukwaya. Please enjoy.